Greetings, everyone. This is Jim Phelps with Remember Veteran Grave Markers. Well, it's been a while since the last time we had a chance to talk, so I have a few things I want to go through with you as we prepare for the 2025 cleaning season of Remember Veteran Grave Markers. This year, it looks like it's going to be pretty exciting. It is the 160th anniversary of the end of the Civil War. Now, that's a pretty important milestone. And in commemoration of the milestone, we're going to go ahead and clean the historic stones this year. We're going to focus our attention on those stones and telling stories when we have the opportunity to on those headstones. Pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. Another thing is recently I learned that Marine Corps retiree Lou Diamond, Master Gunnery Sergeant Lou Diamond, is buried in Toledo Memorial Cemetery. Well, he is a legend in the Marine Corps, so we'll have a story about him at some point in the future. So that's a pretty impressive little piece. Other things that are happening there's going to be an initiative at Forest Cemetery, which we have two Medal of Honor recipients there. At Forest Cemetery, there's going to be some work to be able to mark veteran graves. Not only the Remember Veteran Grave Markers rule on government furnished headstones and grave markers, but also private headstones and grave markers they plan on marking. So more of that will come out in the near future. So I'm excited about that. Now, let me tell you something I want to be able to share with you. My wife sent this to me. It was on Fox 8 WJW, produced by Dave Nethers.
At veteran cemeteries like the Western Reserve National Cemetery in Richmond, every veteran gets a marker. But that hasn't been the case in private cemeteries like Maple Grove.
Now, it's a piece that was on a woman who had found a veteran grave marker, or actually an unidentified space where there was no headstone for the veteran. Now, this particular veteran died while he was in Viet Nam, so he died in battle. Pretty important thing. Now, one of the things I'll have a link to the WJW article and piece, on the screen somewhere here. But what I want to point your attention to is that one of the things they had made a comparison to is government furnished headstones, or headstones in general, being provided to veterans. And while that's true, so long as they are asked for. The federal government does not just give out headstones. It is formally requested by the family or another party that is part of the family. Imagine like a veterans commission or something of that nature. But in this case here, veteran headstones do not automatically appear upon the passing of a veteran. They are requested by the family, and oftentimes that's requested either at the funeral home or at the cemetery, and they could coordinate getting the headstone or making the filling out the application and sending it over to the VA. Now, that's an important distinction because they just don't show up. In the case here with this unidentified grave of this veteran, is that when he was sent home from Vietnam, he was never claimed, if you will, and he was put into what is called the Potter's Field. Potter's Field is generally a place that you would put the bodies of the deceased who have been unclaimed, where there are no family. So that is where he went. And a kind lady had been able to find, hey, this is find out something about the guy, and actually then proceed to get a headstone for this guy. She did it using, donations and things of that nature. Great project. But what I wanted to share with you is in the story, it led one to believe that headstones are automatic, and that's not true. Headstones do not come automatically to the veteran upon their passing. It has to be requested. Now, if they're being buried in a national cemetery, such as the Western Reserve Cemetery or the cemetery up in Holly, Michigan, the Great Lakes National Cemetery, or even Arlington, that is where the family requests to have that veteran or have that serviceman be buried there. Because he died in battle, he would have most likely been able to go to even Arlington. For the most part, he would have been able to go to any veteran cemetery. The second thing is that now that we've got location kind of identified, the headstone could have been a variety of different configurations, a flat grave marker or an upright headstone or even a bronze marker, as in the case of this gentleman here, a bronze marker. What I want to tell you there is that it's still, even if you're going to be buried in a federal cemetery or national cemetery, or if you're going to go to a private municipal cemetery, you still have to request the headstone or whatever grave marker you're going to use. I want you to know that it doesn't come automatically, and that one can feel bad that why doesn't someone do something? Well, the reality is that it's not automatic. Someone has to request it. And while this was a horrible oversight to not recognize this man's service, particularly since he had died in Vietnam, is really kind of a tragic story if you listen to it, that it just doesn't happen automatically. Perhaps maybe in the future, should something like that happen, if the family doesn't do anything and the body returns back to the home of record, perhaps maybe the local Veterans Commission, such as here in Lucas County, can take care of it. Something should be done, and no veteran should be left behind. And even in this case here, where he was forgotten, he is no longer forgotten, and now he has a marker. The last thing, take away from this, is that just because a veteran has a marker does not mean that they will be remembered. You still have to go out and visit, and you still have to go out and clean the graves to help, and that helps us remember the past and the contributions and the sacrifices that these men and women have given. If we don't do that, a marker in location where they're buried is not going to help anybody who doesn't visit. Visiting graves are important. Cleaning graves gives you an opportunity to link yourself to the past and remember what's going on. Thanks for listening. I look forward to seeing you out there. My hope is that we'll be getting out pretty soon. As the weather starts to warm up, it'll make it cleaning a whole lot easier. Take care. God bless. This is Remember Veteran Grave Markers. Jim Phillips. I'm out. Now, please like, subscribe, share, and comment if you like the video. We really would like the appreciation on that. Really helpful.